For millennia, humanity looked up at the morning sky and fell in love with a deception. Shaking off the freezing shadow of space, there is a world that shines with a brilliant, pearl-like beauty, so pure that ancient astronomers named it after the goddess of love and beauty. We call it Venus. It is structurally our twin, almost identical to Earth in size, mass, density, and gravitational pull. But if you dare to step past its pristine, shimmering veil of white clouds, you do not find a sanctuary. You step directly into a planetary slaughterhouse. Venus is not Earth's gentle sister. It is Earth's dark, mutated twin, a terrifying monument to what happens when a terrestrial paradise undergoes a terminal, runaway planetary collapse. It is a world where nature has weaponized the very air, turning a potential cradle of life into the most unforgiving, suffocating, and volatile purgatory in the known universe. The true horror of Venus begins with the terrifying weight of its sky. If you were to stand on its scorched surface, you would not survive long enough to breathe. The Venusian atmosphere is a colossal, high-density ocean of gas, a suffocating shroud composed of 96.5% carbon dioxide. This dense column of gas exerts a crushing atmospheric pressure that is 92 times greater than that of Earth. Standing on Venus is structurally equivalent to traveling 3,000 feet beneath Earth's ocean, a depth where the relentless mechanical weight of the water would instantly flatten a nuclear submarine like a hollow aluminum can. To make matters more apocalyptic, the clouds that completely block out the sun do not drop life-giving water. They are composed of highly concentrated pure sulfuric acid. Venus experiences perpetual chemical storms where corrosive acid rain falls from the upper troposphere, evaporating into a toxic mist before it ever hits the ground, creating a self-sustaining cycle of chemical warfare. Because its atmosphere is choked with carbon dioxide, Venus is a planet caught in a permanent, unescapable thermal trap. This is the ultimate, extreme manifestation of the runaway greenhouse effect. The thick layer of carbon dioxide acts as a one-way mirror for cosmic energy. It allows incoming solar radiation to pass through, but when that light hits the rocky surface and radiates backward as infrared heat, the dense gas completely blocks its escape. The thermal energy has nowhere to go. It is continuously trapped, reflected, and reabsorbed by the planet, forcing temperatures to skyrocket uniformly across the entire globe. Day or night, equator or poles, the temperature on Venus remains locked at a devastating 465 degrees Celsius. This is a baseline temperature that is hotter than the surface of Mercury, despite being twice as far from the Sun. It is a planetary furnace, so intensely hot that it can easily melt lead, zinc, and structural aluminum in a matter of moments, making the search for biological life an absolute impossibility. Beneath this crushing, acid-choked sky lies a battered geological nightmare, sculpted by continuous, ancient internal fury. Venus possesses more volcanoes than any other world in our solar system, with over 1,600 major volcanic structures tearing through its crust. Vast plains of solidified basaltic lava cover 80% of the planet, scarred by twisting lava channels that stretch for thousands of miles across the landscape. The volcanoes of Venus are structurally bizarre. The crushing atmospheric pressure prevents explosive eruptions, forcing thick, viscous lava to slowly ooze outward, creating massive, flattened structures known as pancake domes. Yet, despite this high density of volcanic features, Venus lacks tectonic plates. Without the dynamic sliding zones found on Earth, the planet cannot gradually vent its internal thermal heat. Instead, scientists hypothesize that Venus undergoes periodic, apocalyptic global resurfacing events, where internal volcanic heat builds up for hundreds of millions of years until the entire crust structurally ruptures simultaneously, drowning the entire planet in a global ocean of liquid lava. To extract real data from the surface of this terrifying twin required a level of engineering sacrifice that borders on the impossible. During the height of the space race, while the world watched the moon, the Soviet Union launched the historic Venera program, a series of heavily armored robotic probes designed to execute a kamikaze descent into the Venetian furnace. Most of the early probes were instantly crushed or vaporized high in the atmosphere before ever touching the ground. But in October 1975, Venera 9 survived the descent, transmitting the historic first-ever black and white images of another planet's surface before being destroyed by the extreme environment. Years later, Venera 13 achieved the impossible, surviving for exactly 127 minutes in a world of lead-melting heat and bone-crushing pressure, sending back the only color panoramas of Venusian volcanic gravel humanity has ever seen. These armored, mechanical, martyred probes proved that to touch Venus is to accept instant destruction, their flattened, melted metallic remnants remaining on the surface today as silent monuments to human curiosity. Humanity refused to let the acid veil of Venus hide its secrets forever. In the decades following the surface landings, a fleet of advanced orbital pioneers returned to peer through the darkness using sophisticated remote sensing telemetry. NASA's Magellan spacecraft utilized advanced synthetic aperture radar to map 98% of the planet's hidden topography, exposing its volcanic networks. The European Space Agency's Venus Express tracked the violent, hurricane-force wind systems in the upper atmosphere, where clouds travel at hypervelocities that are 60 times faster than the rotation of the planet itself. Today, a revolutionary new vanguard of robotic exploration is preparing to return. NASA's upcoming Veritas and DAVINCI Plus missions, alongside the European Envision orbiter, will deploy high-tech atmospheric descent spheres equipped with mass spectrometers to analyze the air sample by sample, mapping the chemical composition and looking for ancient structural evidence to definitively answer whether Venus once possessed vast oceans of liquid water. Ultimately, the importance of studying Venus does not lie in its hostile novelty. It lies in its profound, terrifying warning for our own survival. Many astrophysicists believe that early in its history, Venus was an oasis, a warm, wet world that possessed liquid water oceans, gentle atmospheric cycles, and a stable climate identical to ancient Earth. But as the sun's luminosity naturally increased over deep space timelines, Evaporation cycles spiraled out of control, releasing immense columns of water vapor into the air, trapping heat, baking the rocky crust, and releasing trapped carbon dioxide into a devastating, irreversible loop. Venus is a physical ghost of Earth's absolute worst-case scenario. It proves with mathematical precision that stability in the cosmos is a fragile illusion, and that a planet's climate can be broken permanently if pushed past its tipping points. When we look upon the scarred, acid-shrouded face of our dark twin, we are not just looking at another world. We are staring directly into the mirror of Earth's potential future. Venus stands as a stark, magnificent reminder of planetary fragility, a beautiful pearl masking a thermonuclear-induced nightmare. It challenges us to appreciate the delicate, thin blanket of life we possess on our own world. Thank you for exploring the Solar System Chronicles with Science Odyssey. If you are ready to journey deeper into the void, subscribe and join us for our next chapter, where we return to the ultimate sanctuary, the Goldilocks anomaly, and the only known fortress of biological consciousness in the deep, dark universe. Our miraculous home planet, Earth. Thanks for watching.